Hi, I'm Emyle Watkins, and this is the WBFO Disabilities Beat. Back in 2014, paratransit rider Stephanie Speaker walked into then Assembly member Mickey Kearns' Southgate Plaza office for the first time. Paratransit, which is meant to provide point-to-point public transportation for people with disabilities, including Speaker, didn't reach the West Seneca Development Center, where she needed to go to access disability services. Instead, it dropped her 1.5 miles away at the Southgate Plaza, because federal law only sets a minimum distance paratransit has to go beyond a mainline route. And after bringing the issue to Kearns' doorstep, Speaker started on a now decade-long campaign to make paratransit in New York State go farther. Here's part of an interview I did with Speaker in 2023 about the vital transportation system she believes needs to change. So for people who aren't familiar with paratransit, how does it work when you take a ride?
Paratransit, it costs $70 for 20 trips. And if you don't have the bus pass, then it's $4 each way. And you got to call in the day before, because you cannot make paratransit arrangements on same day.
When paratransit comes, what makes it different than the mainline bus?
The little bus comes and picks you up. Pale bus picks you up at home, and they give you a window. Like mine was, they say 11:30 to 12 o'clock today. Now, then when they come back and pick you up, you got a window, and the window I have is between 4 and 4:30 today.
Paratransit only goes a certain distance beyond the main line, right?
Right.
And so if you live near a route, let's call it Route 6, and that Route 6 goes down the main road, but you live on a road off of that, if you're beyond 3/4 of a mile, you can't get picked up by paratransit, right?
Right.
So the issue you're describing is that people need to go to a location that's not within that service zone, and so they're getting dropped far away from where they need to be.
Yes.
For you personally, how often does this happen to you where you need to go somewhere that's not in the service range?
Well, there's people that got stuck, like me a couple of times. Paratransit, you could get to Sweet Home High School for track and field, but they have to pick you up between 4:30 and 5 o'clock when the thing doesn't start until 6:30. Then they can't come back and pick you up until 8:45 to 9:15 at night.
Do you feel like the system isn't reliable for people?
I'm trying to fix that up. Yes, I think it is unreliable for people because paratransit, the people that need it, they can't get it.
When you met Mickey Kearns, he was working in the assembly, right?
Yes, I met Mickey when he was working in the assembly, yes.
And from my understanding, a lot of people were ending up in the Southgate Plaza where his office was and showing him this issue.
Yes.
How did the bill come about that you ended up working on?
I talked to Mickey and I said, Mickey, do you think you can help me? He said, what do you need help with? And I said, I need help with getting better transportation for me, my friends, the veterans, and the seniors. I said, do you think you can help me? He went to me, he goes, how would you like to get a bill started, Stephanie? I said, okay, let's do it. So I've been working on it for 9 years. I got $750,000 through Senator Kennedy.
And so that was back in 2022, correct? That they provided the $750,000 to evaluate if your bill is essentially feasible.
Yes, April of 2022.
What would Stephanie's bill do?
Stephanie's bill would make paratransit go further. It would go 3 miles instead of 3/4 of a mile.
Because that 3/4 of a mile is the federal minimum, correct?
Yes.
And what kind of difference would that make for people? Are there people who can't get to work or medical appointments right now?
Yes. And the 3 miles would make it more accessible for people to get around, go to the doctor's appointments, go to stores, go wherever they have to go. Right now, paratransit's good, but it's not as good as it could be.
And I know you mentioned that there's been times where you or people you know have been stranded or needed immediate transportation. Can you give us an example of what you've done in that situation?
Yes, the last time I was stuck, they dropped me off at the wrong building. They were supposed to drop me off at the library because I had a self-advocacy thing there.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped me off at the Erie County Rats building. So my dad, the security guard, he come out and he told me, he goes, Stephanie, he goes, you're loitering, young lady. I said, can I call my dad? Because I don't even know where I am. So I finally got in touch with my dad. My dad had to come pick me up and then stay with me for the whole entire day and then take me back home again.
So it's a matter of your independence, too, as a person with a disability.
Yes. I try to be as independent as I can be, because right now I want to show mom and dad that I can be independent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard to do when paratransit is not
allowing you to be.
Right.
I know the objective of your bill is to expand the distance paratransit goes.
Yes.
And the study that's being done with that money that you were able to get from the state is going to explore those improvements to paratransit. Are you hoping to see other improvements besides just the distance?
I would like to see a lot of stuff done with paratransit. I would like to see that you can make reservations on the same day, and that you can cancel your ride whenever you need to.
What do you think the future of paratransit looks like? What would be like the perfect paratransit system to you?
The perfect, that it would go further and it could help people. Because right now it only goes 3/4 of a mile and people can't get around.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
The funding speakers' advocacy secured from the state is currently being used by the NFTA to conduct an expansion study. Stephanie's bill, which was first introduced by Kearns, still has not been passed, as additional funding would have to be allocated in the state budget to support it. To listen to the Disabilities Beat segment on demand, view a transcript, and learn more about paratransit, visit our website at WBFO.org. I'm Emyle Watkins. Thanks for listening.